Okay guys, I think we can start. In this video we're going to create a bracket for DJI RC2 controller, so we can attach it to bicycle, or in my case motorcycle handlebar, using basically any action camera brackets. So of course, before I started I took all measurements, distance between screws, this ones and this two, because this angle is not 90 degree. I used 3D printed tool. I checked the angle, so I was able to recreate it. I've got everything written down. Before I did print the actual part, first I did print some templates to make sure that distance and measurements I've got are correct. So let's start. I'm gonna go to the file I already have. So this is how it looks like. So we're gonna create new part. So what I did first, of course, I'm creating a new body and then starting to draw what I want to have. So let's start with this first bracket we had in here. What I did was I did create holes for screws. They are 2 millimeter, so I did 2.1, as I always do. I always add 0.1, and we're gonna make them the same, equal. That's it. I already know that distance between them is supposed to be 34 millimeters. Constraint horizontal distance 34, bang, and we've got two holes with this distance between. It's easier to work when if this will be in the middle of our workbench. 34 divided by 2, 17, bang. So distance from here to here is 17, and the same here. Yep. So now we need somewhere where we can put these two holes, and this part I can't even remember how wide was it, but never mind. We measured this distance and we want this to be distance from here to here. We want it to be 6 millimeter, and the same here, 6 millimeter, and from middle of the hole to the edge. We want to have, how much was it? 3 millimeters. And the same this side. So we've got the first part of the bracket, and we want this to be 4 millimeter thick. So part, create part 4, bang. So this is the part that will be attached to this 2 screws over here. We've got this one. Now, because this part is sticking out and we want to have this thing, we need to create like a slope. So to draw the slope, we need slope from here on this edge, going from here to here. So we want to draw on this wall. Okay, and by creating external geometry, we can mark wall edges and corners to which we can attach our drawing, our sketch. To do that, we're gonna create this wall first. For now, we are just making the overall overall sketch. We're gonna add some measurements in a minute. So this is the shape we need. Okay, and we know that from here to here we want to have 2.3 millimeters. So first we're gonna make them parallel, constrain parallel, bang, they are parallel now. We're gonna do the same with them, parallel, yes, and now also we want this to be 4 millimeter thick, 4, and now all we need to do is from here to here, because I measured, I know I want to have 6.1 millimeter, and from here to here I know I want to have 2.3 millimeter, and this edge I want it to be 6 millimeter, so from here to here 6 millimeter. So you can just make this edge 6 millimeter long, 6, bang, and we've got the overall shape. Yep, sketched. We're gonna do exactly the same on this side, or we can do it different way. We're gonna do a different way. I'll show you a nice trick. So now we want this to be part of that. Yep. So path, because in this case path will be going into our way, so wrong way, so press reversed, and path is going to the other side, to the back. And This part should be 12 millimeters, the same as this one. This part. Okay. Okay. But now we want this part to be on this side as well, yeah. And this is our, and this thing is our pad. So pad, and let's see if this is gonna work, yeah. We can do mirrored, and now because we did it exactly in the middle, as you can see, vertical sketch axis, it did mirror it exactly where we want it, because we've got our sketch in the middle of the plane. That's very helpful, as you can see. Otherwise we would have to do some measurements. Okay, bang, we've got first part of the bracket. So now okay, so now we need to extend this two parts. So we're gonna do pretty much the same. Sketch. Basically, creating parts in FreeCAD is based on making sketches. That's all I do. For this part we can just take rectangle, and this time we're gonna create just two rectangles. We're not gonna, you don't have to mirror every time, yeah. If you can do it easy this way, do it this way. And we need this to be 39 millimeters long. So 39, yes, and bang on. Okay. Yep, this is what we want. And now we need this part that's gonna hold to this back of the controller. So again, we want sketch, but yeah, we don't want this to be 90 degrees. We need 100 degrees, as far as I remember. Yep, so again, we're gonna do sketch on this wall. And this will be this is our edge. Yes, we want this to be parallel to each other, and we want this to be parallel, exactly, and we want this to be 4 millimeter. I don't really care that this 4 millimeter, the straight line won't be exactly 4 millimeter with the angle. Yes. And now to have this 100 degrees, yep, we mark this, and we want this to be 100. Yep. And now we want distance between this and this, so how wide it's gonna be. We want 12 millimeters. That's it. And Okay, so we want to create a pod, yeah, from this one. Again, reversed, and now we can make this pod going to not by dimension but up to face, and we're gonna make it up to this face. You see, it's perfectly touched. But to be honest, we want this part with exact measurements. And what I've got here, $123. Let me check this, or we're gonna check with this one. Yes, but six millimeter. So 6 millimeter. Okay. So we're gonna do a different way. We're gonna create a pod, but we're gonna use 2 dimensions. But to create it in 2 dimensions, we need to know exact distance between these 2 points. 64.2, and we want this wall to be 135.8. 135.8. $135.8 minus 64.2 divided by 2, 35.8 plus 0.1, 67.9. Okay, I've got my measurements, so now I know what 2 dimensions I need. Yep, so this one I need 35.8. We'll see if that's correct. And this one I need 67.9. Not correct. Sixty-four 64.2 plus 35.8, 100. This one should be 100. And now we can check if these 2 dimensions are the same. 35.8. So looks like my measurements were correct, more or less. Okie dokie. Yep. We don't need them. Okay. Okay. But now we're gonna draw this bracket here. Again, sketch. And okay, I hope this was recording all the time. So we've got this sketch again. So now we want two 4.1 millimeter holes. 4.1 holes in one line. Yeah, constraint horizontal, bank. And we want them to be 123.8 millimeters apart. Yes. And we want this 6 millimeter from this edge. And we want this in the middle. Okay, so we've got them two holes. Bang. Pocket. Holes, pockets. Never mind. And we've got the overall shape of our bracket, the most important things we need to have it. Yep. Of course you can make this wider. Yeah. So, but we want these edges to be nice and round. So highlight one, control, highlight second one. We can control all four straight away, or we can do it this way. Here we've got edges 1 millimeter. We can make them 6, no, because this is 12 millimeters, so we can do 5.99. Yep, nice and round. Do you want them too as well? So select here, select without control now. We don't need control now. Preview, bank, 5.99 millimeters wide. This is the radius. So now we're gonna create a bracket for that we can attach. So we need this, let's call this GoPro mount. Yep. We can do it two ways. We can draw it on this surface and create the pads, or we can create plane just let's check which edge do we need. We need edge YZ. Okay, we need edge YZ, and is that enough? That should be enough. Okay, we don't need to see this, and now we can create sketch on this plane. Create the item plane. Yep, there it is. So we need to attach it to something that's part of this. So we've got two dots here, and okay, I need to see my here I've got my notes. What measurements should I use for GoPro mount? Distance here we've got 12 millimeters. Yep. But we've got 12 millimeters, but for this we need 15. So we're gonna do 1.5, and here we're gonna do 1.5, and that should be fine. And no, we're not gonna go back to the sketch, and because we've got different size now. So again, the item plane. No, not on this one. On this one. Why is that? What's this? No, we want the item plane on this, and that's it. Okay, sketch again. Okay, so yep, and it should be 14.8 wide. We're gonna do 15 wide, so it's 15 wide, and again we're gonna create everything later. Okay, so again we want them to be parallel. Yep. And we also what else do we want? We want this to be behind these screws, so we can screw it in and out even if it's in. So we're gonna make this constraint vertical. Yep. And we're gonna make this at least 16 millimeter long. Nope. Let's check it quickly. How tall is it? $30 millimeters. Yep. Let's make it 30 millimeters. 30. No, we're not gonna do it this way. Gonna do 90 degrees because we want this to be round later. Okay. And now we want path from this. We don't need to see this, yep. But we want two paths from this. We want 3.3 millimeters between paths. Exactly 3.3. Two dimensions. You want this to be 2.8 wide plus 3.3 this is 3.3 divided on 2 plus 2.8. Yes. 3.3 divided, this is minus 1. One 65. And this should be 2.8. 2.8. Yes. And now we want this to be again mirrored against YZ. Yep. And distance between them should be 3.3. 3.3. Perfect. This is what we wanted. And now we need hole for the screw. So of course again, create sketch. Let's mark edges. So we've got reference points. We can attach everything. Yep. This hole is 5 millimeters. So of course, constraint diameter 5.1, like always. Bang. And we want distance between this edge and this whole edge 5 millimeters. So can do it this way. It's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna be this, yeah. So this means it will be in the middle of this line, yeah. But let's make it this way. Let's just attach it to it, yeah. So these two are attached. We want this to be 90 degrees, but we need this in the middle, yeah. And constraint symmetric. No, 4 is a problem. And there it is. And now we want this to be 5 plus 2.55. plus 2.55, because 5.1 we need radius of this, so 2.55 is 5.1. Yep, 5 bang. And edge of this circle is 5 millimeters from this edge. Yep, and it's in the middle. Okay, we're not gonna move, we just have to remember not to move this circle now, because it's exactly where we want it. So we can delete this line, but now don't move it. And now pocket hole. I never use hole, I don't know. Hole, yeah, there's just some more parameters you can have. Okay, we're gonna use pocket again. Just remember to make it not long enough to cover both walls. And we've got basically this bracket ready. Of course we want this edges round, so click the edge, but we want all edges round. Yeah, so again, select edges you want, preview, .99. I don't know how long is that edge, so let's just try. Three, no, 2, 1, no, so 6.7 will be perfect. And we've got our bracket. We've got this edge 6 millimeter. Yeah, if you want a wider, you can just make a pad. But also I want to have this hole for cables to charge it, or to insert the SD card. So again, measurements, and we're doing another sketch, and this time we're gonna have distance from this hole, so let's have it here. And we can do it this way, of course. And now we want this to be 35 millimeters wide. 35 and 7. But because we already had we can do it this way. Yeah, 35, tab, going to another, and 7, enter, and that's it. Yep. And now we want this to be 44 millimeters from center of this hole. So mark both 44. And we want this to be 2.5 millimeter from the top. And we're making another pocket. And again, if we want to round these edges, yeah, just round them. I'm gonna select. You don't have to, but if you're aesthetic, you can do it beside it. Yep. Also, in my bracket, you can see. In my bracket, you can see these ribs here. They're not necessary, but they will put some strength to this bracket, and they will also, but they're not gonna cover this ventilation. To show you how it looks like, I will show you this. Yeah, so you can see how it looks on the controller. And this is how it looks on the motorcycle. Of course, if you want to record yourself on a motorcycle, don't do it on the public road this way. Yeah, be safe. When you're riding, be focused on the road. When you're operating your drone, be focused on operating your drone. Okay, so what do we want? We want these ribs. Yep. We will need this distance. It's 40. Okay. Okay, so again we need datum plane because we want from here to here. Yep. Yeah. But also to make it look like it looks online, we want to have small platform over here. And this one was another 6mm, so we're gonna create another sketch. It's easy sketch, yeah. So we need 4 plus 6, it's 10. No, I think it's wider. It's about 15mm, so we can change it. Double click, 15, back. That's okay. I'm just showing this to you, so it doesn't have to be exactly the same as I did. I'm just showing you how to do it. Yeah, you need to take measurements yourself. And we want a path that will go all the way to here, so we can do it by dimension, or we can do it again up to face, back, and we got it. Yeah. Also, we want this to be flat with this. Yeah, but it's not because we had this 100 degree angle from here to here. To change it, we can do it this way. Sketch. You see, there's an angle. we want this line here. We're gonna do it this way because we're gonna just cut out this corner to be flat, yeah. But right now it's not the same angle, yeah. So we want this dot and this line to be together. Back, close, and now we're gonna cut out this corner. You see? It's only 5 mm, but we need about 60. Was it 60 something? Can't remember. Also, we can do up to face, bang, and we've got flat surface in here. And that's it. Of course, we can make it round or whatever we want, yeah, decide it. But first we want these ribs. Yep. So to create ribs, we need that datum plane. We want these two lines as a reference. We want it to be starting from here, yeah, from the edge. It will be easier and it's gonna look nice. Okay, so we want to draw on this sketch. And we want as a reference this one, this one, this one. I'm just checking how did I do it exactly, but I know. Should be simple sketch from here to here, from here to here, from here nope. So we've got this top line, yep. We have this one. I don't know how long it's supposed to be. And we've got this one going here. This line and this one. We want to be 2 millimeters wide from and we want them two to be connected. Yep. And this is 2 millimeters. 2.3. Yes, that's correct. It will be small slope. But we're gonna change it, don't worry. We're gonna change it later. So now we don't need to see this datum plane. We want this to be a pod, but let's make it 2 millimeter wide. Should be enough. should be enough. Okay, and now we want this to look nicer. So we're gonna make it chamfer, and we're gonna use 2 dimensions, 2 distances. Yep. So one is down and one is going all the way to here. 36 point. We're gonna do 5. Is that okay? Yep. And this one will be 2.1, 2.15, 2.2. Yep, that should be fine. Okay. So we want ribs here. Yep. And we know that this distance is 40 millimeters. We've got this chamfer. Yep. Now, so we want about 5 ribs. I did 5. So linear pattern. X. Where is it? It's 100 millimeter. Let's do 20, and we'll see where it's gonna be. I can't see it anywhere. Should be able to see it. Okay, we're gonna select reference. This will be our reference. Yep. Why it's not showing? Maybe it's other way. For some reason. Let's see if it's gonna do it with the. Yeah, it should. It should work. It's okay, so we're gonna do a different way. But in a pattern. Yep. Now we want this X. Yep. But it will be minus 40. Reverse direction. Yep. 40. Okay, so 38 because it was 2 millimeter. Perfect. 3, 4, 5. Done. We've got 5 ribs, and as we did before, equal distance to distances. 2.65, 12.55. No, it was 25. Okay. And this one was 35. 36 and a half. So again, we're gonna select edges, the same trick as before, preview, bang, we've got 5 ribs here. Okie dokie. Now we want these edges to be rounded up. 3mm should be enough. Should look nice, but again, we want all these edges to be the same. We can't do this because it's got different measurements. Let's try. Preview, you see it didn't work. So edge 99, we're gonna delete it. Preview, but we're gonna do it separately. No, we can't. Okay, because it's not straight again. So again, we're gonna do the same trick. We're gonna cut out this corner, this triangle from here. Okay. So again, this is not flat. We want this to be flat with this. So we're gonna do the same thing as we did before. Hundred is more than enough. Perfect. Now we've got one edge that we can round. 1, 2, 3. We want it to be like this, 3 or 2.9. 2.5, 2.7. Okay, that should be fine. That looks good. And again, all these edges. All these edges. Preview, bank. And basically done. I also did make this and this edge like that. 4 smacks, and that's more than enough. Also to make it stronger, even stronger than it is, but I think it should be strong enough. Depends what filament you're gonna use. I'm using ABS. I didn't test it yet. You can fill this a little bit, yeah. If you want, but I think should be strong enough. So 2mm hole, 4mm hole, and that's it. this is how it looks. A second. This is how it looks on the controller. Here you can see space for cable and SD card. That's it, guys. If you want me to design something else, let me know and I will try. Thanks for watching. I hope it was useful. If you can't 3D print it yourself, let me know. I can sell you one of these brackets. Thank you and goodbye.